I want to go home, words etched in every fiber of my soul. I had walked into that pediatric oncology room with one simple question. Is there anything that I could do for you today? A young 11-year-old girl, marked with every remnant of cancer, looks at me and she says, "Can you talk to my mom?" I say, "Absolutely. What would you like for me to say?" She says, "I want to go home. I'm ready to go home. However, she comes in here and she tells me that she needs me, that she cannot live without me, and I can't leave her like that." Was there something in the discharge plan that I had missed that morning? Was she being sent home on hospice care and perhaps I wasn't aware? She soothes my confusion by saying, "No, I want to go home. There's angels in this room and they're ready for me to go, but I can't leave my mom like that." I look at her and I say, "Angels in here?" She says, "Yes, there's one at each side of my headboard and there's one at my feet. So, will you speak with my mom?" I take a deep breath in and out, step out into that lobby, and there she is. Little does she know that she would soon become a statistic. Every 10 minutes, a parent loses a child, and she was about to become that parent. I go and I take a seat next to her. I tell her, "Your daughter needs you." And she says, "I've been here with her every step of the way." I said, "Yes, I know. However, today, she needs something different from you. Today, she needs for you to speak the biggest lie of your life. What she needs from you is for you to tell her that it is okay for her to go, that you are going to be okay. Biggest lie, because as a matter of fact, you will never be okay. You will never be the same. However, today, that is what she needs of you." She looks at me, and if her look could have pierced through me, I wouldn't be here to tell this story. She says, "How dare you ask me to let go of my child? Have you ever lost a child?" In that moment, my own story made sense. I look at her and I said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I have. Grief is a language that I am fluent in. You're going to go in there, you're going to say to her what she needs for you to say, and you're going to come back out, and if your knees hit the ground, my knees will hit the ground right with you." Just 2 years earlier, I had heard those words. You will use this to help others. My daughter, Desiree Faith, was born on November the 8th, 2003. She was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. She was bold, resilient, fierce. She was mighty. Everything was good to go for Thanksgiving. We got to bring her home. Man, there was so much to be grateful for. In a conversation with her doctor, her pediatric cardiologist, he tells me, "Mom, everything is great. Pressures in her heart are absolutely perfect. She is ready." With a little bit of hesitation, I said, "Doctor, my daughters, Natalie and Brianne, are fixing to have birthdays in early March, and they want a party. However, you know Des's condition." He looks at me and he tells me, "Mom, you plan the party. Desiree will be home. I promise. I promise." Words that a doctor should never say to a patient. The surgery didn't go as planned, and as a matter of fact, everything that could go wrong went wrong. I saw my daughter suffer. I surrendered. I looked at the doctor, and he would often be pacing back and forth and back and forth. He'd hold his head and he'd tell me it wasn't supposed to be this way. I feel like I'm fighting a war against God, and he doesn't let me win. I told him it's okay to let her go. I comforted him with my family by our side. He said, "It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She'll go quickly." After all, her heart is the weak one. They closed her chest up. They gave her to us. We held her. I sang to her as I did every day. And at 11:08 at night, her heart beat for the very last time. 11:08. She was born on November the 8th, and she died at 11:08 at night. Just a couple of months later, I received a box in the mail. It's called a memory box. In it was a handprint, a footprint, a lock of her hair, some handwritten notes from her nurses, and these pictures. I honestly do not remember these pictures being taken. I do remember having the opportunity to bathe her, to change her, and to walk away as if she was asleep. I am thankful that I received these images. They are a reminder that this story actually did happen. The funeral was tough. Gosh, I was angry at God, angry at the world, angry at every person who was saying all the things that I wish they would have just kept their mouths quiet about. God knows what he's doing. Why would he be crushing me like this? He needed an angel. Doesn't he have a whole entourage of them? At least you have 2 other daughters, or you can always have another one. And although those words are all true, in that moment, that is not what I needed. People who do not understand the language of grief do not understand that many times their words and their actions are completely the opposite of what that person needs. It's almost like they see this emotional catastrophe heading their way, and the natural thing for them to do is for them to evacuate. They say the things that protect them. However, it leaves the grieved completely unprotected. The brain has a way of reminding us of what used to be and no longer is. The cycle of grief transitions between denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And although we know that grief is not linear, normal grief typically is processed in a time span of about a year. What I, as a therapist, have been able to observe is that 1-year anniversary reopens a wound that you are desperate to heal. Grief can be cyclical, it can be painful, and it can be beautiful at the same time. After years of picking up broken pieces, I met the man that is called my husband. It was all sunshine and rainbows until I had the opportunity to show him the darkness that looms in the months of July and August. You see, in July of 2019, my dad died. He is a man who taught me to be perseverant. In August of 2020, my mom went to reunite with her groom. Placing my head on her chest, that was always my safe space. Listening to her heartbeat brought life to me. I missed that safety. In August of 2021, their eldest daughter, my sister, went to go catch up to them. She was my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, the phone call of wisdom and reason. My husband sees me. He doesn't know what to do with me. He doesn't know what to do for me. How can he save me and how can he protect me? So he does the most normal human thing. He evacuates. In steps anger. How can he be so selfish? Do people really have this luxury? How does God even get to choose who carries the burden of grief and who is spared from it? I tear his spirit because mine is hemorrhaging. In that moment, the gift that he bestowed to me was truly the most priceless gift. He returns and he asks me, How can I learn this language that you speak? I want to be able to be present for you when you need me. Teach me. Teach me. In that moment, I don't think that he was comfortable. As a matter of fact, I think he was quite uncomfortable. But what I was hearing was, teach me. I want to be able to understand. You see, in those moments, oftentimes, we don't realize that we're so afraid of the silence that the most natural thing is to run away from it. Teach me. I'm not saying that to learn this language of grief, you have to go through grief. What I am saying is that gentle curiosity and a willingness to be taught is really all you need. Don't solve it, don't fix it, just be and allow that person to be as well. If for you, grief is a language that you are fluent in, know that you are not alone. As a matter of fact, it's not just a loss. There's an abundance that comes from being able to be in a space where you can only be trusted because you've walked that path. We gain compassion and empathy, an ability to listen to the roar in the midst of the silence. There is so much to be gained. If for you, this is a foreign language, know that the only certainty that we all have is that there is a 100% chance that death will come. Not to sound morbid, but that is as real as it gets. So how do you learn this language? I'm thankful that you would have asked. First and foremost, something as simple as, I am here for you. I am here with you. It really is that simple. Oftentimes, we're not comfortable with the silence, that we feel that these empty words are what is needed. Here, I invite you to be much like that buffalo. When a storm is approaching, it doesn't run away from the storm. No, it runs into it. Why does it do it? Because it knows that as it leans into it, the discomfort that it is anticipating will be decreased. Number 2, don't be afraid to ask, how can I be present for you? Truth is that giving somebody the opportunity to make a choice, to have some sort of decision when life is falling apart and completely out of control, that is a gift that you get to give. It's not about you being comfortable. No, this is about you meeting that person where they are, not where you need for them to be. It may sound cliche, but I didn't choose my profession. My profession chose me. I learned to embrace this gift and the responsibility that comes with it. Post-traumatic growth is having the opportunity to go through a traumatic experience and choosing to do something with it. My clients often say to me that they feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel understood. Not because I know what their pain feels like. I don't. They feel it because they know, they can trust that I too have been in that space and that I'm not afraid to lean into the silence. From that chair, I have witnessed mothers, fathers, family members move forward while holding on to the memory of their loved one. It gives them an opportunity to make sense and bring new meaning to their own journeys. For me, that meaning came through a number, 1108. She was born on November the 8th, and she died at 11:08. And every time that I need for her to show up for me, I'll see those numbers. Perhaps for you, it's a cardinal, a butterfly, birds in the sky. At this moment, I invite you to place one hand over the other and to simply feel that heart that is beating. And together we will do a mindfulness practice using square breathing. I will demonstrate to you, and if you feel comfortable, I ask that you join me. We will breathe in for 4, we will hold for 4, we will exhale for 4, and we will hold for 4 once again. As you invite that memory of your loved one, I encourage that you close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and just bring their presence into the room. As you breathe in, and as you hold that sacred space. Perhaps you hear their laughter, perhaps you see their face, perhaps it's their cooking. As you release, you acknowledge that your life, that keeps moving forward. You have a mission you still need to accomplish. And as you hold once again, you affirm that it is possible to move forward while holding on to the memory of your loved one. Collectively, I ask that we take a deep breath in and release. As I reflect back on that mom and the millions of pieces that were torn on that day, I can't help but to be grateful that I had the opportunity to meet her right where she needed me to be. I speak these words from a teacher called Grief, who by this moment has gained 2 more angels. I hold a space that is sacred for these parents, and I remind you that human connection is a basic need, but being able to connect with those that are grieving, that is the gift of survival. My name is Roxanne, and I am fluent in the language of grief. Thank you.